Welcome to the Her Voice Shines podcast, where we celebrate the power, brilliance, and resilience of women everywhere. I'm your host, Shanasia Washington. Join us as we share inspiring stories and insights from extraordinary women who have found their voice and are making a difference. Together, we'll create a ripple effect, illuminating the path to visibility and empowerment. Let's break barriers, shatter ceilings, and lift each other up. In each episode, we dive deep into the journeys of women who have turned their challenges into triumphs and their dreams into reality. Whether you're looking for motivation, guidance, or a community that understands your journey, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and remember, let your voice shine. Oh, you landed back. I know you see me all the time, but I'm not working in the studio all the time. I haven't been here in months, and I am full of energy. So God bless this guest. So I am so ready for her to be here on the stage. You guys know I miss you so much, but this is really a place of passion for me because we bring the best guests. And of course, I go around, I look at all their business. They don't know it, but when I start asking them, they know I've done some real research on them. But without any further waiting time, let's get into our beautiful drill. We're going to have our guests come to the stage, tell us their name and where they are streaming from, and we get the magic of the story without any further waiting time. Here's my very beautiful guest for today.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Laura Reutter. I'm a certified patient navigator, breast cancer patient navigator, fabulous flatty, 8-year survivor, mother, grandmother, talking to you from Austin, Texas.
You know what? I knew it was going to be big energy. I always know a Texas lady when I see one. I'm just a couple hours down the road. I'm out here in Houston, Texas, with a little chill today. So I told you, I knew it. I knew it was the Texas lady on the screen, but she said that in such a cute fashion. But Ms. Laura has such a powerful story, and I have gone really to look at it. I know that she is really trying to impact her corner of the world. So tell us what you do, Ms. Laura, and kind of how that journey came about.
The journey was not straightforward, that's for sure. By education, I'm a mechanical engineer. I was actually born in Detroit, so I'm a Michigander. Relocated here to Texas after a divorce a number of years ago, and was living a pretty nice single life. And then I heard those words, "You have cancer. You have cancer," and it totally went from just enjoying my life on cruise control to, wow, now, once I heard those words and I found out I was stage 2, so I was not going to die from cancer. But I knew it would affect my life. It rolls over every stone in your life. And so at that point, I really had to kind of switch gears and learn from my experience on how do I live my life after cancer. Once you go through all that trauma, the treatments, the chemo, radiation, surgeries, how do I live my life? I didn't plan on being flat. I didn't plan on giving up my breast, but that's what happened to me. And so now I really, as a patient navigator, I try to use my experiences and really listen to others and try to guide them through and let them know that there's life after. It will be different. It's going to look different, but it doesn't mean it's all bad. You're going to, find what's important to you.
Ms. Laura, when I looked at the information, you said that the question shifted. They say you have stage 2 cancer.
Yes.
And then it says, my question shifted from will I die to how do I live like this, right? That's kind of morbid, into life. So there's a shift that kind of comes on in the brain because there's 2 different dynamics of questions, right? Tell me what was the hardest part about that transition, because as we're processing things and they come in fashion, we just kind of like fight or flight, right? We just have to figure it out as we go. But as it kind of settles, those are 2 very heavy fork of the road kind of questions. Tell me about that transitional mind space of saying, am I going to die or no? How do I live with this, or how do I live through this?
Yeah. And within the breast cancer world, stage 0 through 3 is what physicians consider early stage. So very good survival rates with 0 through 3. If you're diagnosed stage 4, which is typically also called metastatic, that means that the cancer has left your breast area, left your lymph node area, and is maybe in your liver, bones, other parts of your body. At that point, the breast cancer becomes a managed disease. people are most likely on lines of treatment the rest of their lives. Whereas if you're stage 0 through 3, there's the surgeries, the radiation, and you're declared cancer free. It's always, for all of us survivors, it's in the back of our head somewhere, like, is it going to come back if there's a reoccurrence? And there's like a 30% chance of reoccurrence. So, but it may never come back. It may be gone forever. So there's a different mindset if you're diagnosed stage 4 or stage 0 through 3. So once I knew I was stage 2, and I'm like, okay, now how do I live with this? Because once you go through the trauma of treatment, a lot of things seem insignificant in your life. It took a whole lot to get me kind of riled up afterwards. I'm like, this doesn't mean anything. This is unimportant in life. Things that used to bother you are just meaningless. To the point where I had the opportunity volunteering for Breast Cancer Resource Center here in a nonprofit here in Austin. I was volunteering for them, and opportunity came up to become a navigator, and I jumped on it. I said, I want to impact people, which was different for me because, again, I come up through automotive in Detroit, engineering, that one side of my brain, and then switching gears and working with mostly women. I work with a few men, a few trans men, a few cis men, and working to help other women find their voice, and empathy, compassion, and really trying to guide them and let them in reassurance and let them know what they're going to expect. For me, my pivotal point, probably my lowest point through my treatment was after post-surgery, because I was supposed to have implants, was my game plan, chemo, then reconstruction, my choice. There's typically 3 different choices with, underneath an umbrella of reconstruction. So my choice was implants, and I ended up with an infection post-surgery, and ended up going flat. Aesthetic flat closure is the proper term for it now. So it wasn't a choice. If it's a choice that you make, then you have control of that. And so much about cancer treatment, a lot of things in life you have no control over, but you want that feeling of control. And so that control was taken away from me during my treatment. And it's just part of life. It's unfortunate, but what I had to do afterwards is build up from that low of no confidence to try to get my swagger back, try to get my confidence back. I've always been very independent.
And don't let her fool. She got the swagger back. I was just telling her about the glasses. Okay, so you could tell somebody else that, Miss Laura, you got the swagger back. Y'all see, I already asked her for the glasses. I'm going to get my prescription check, all this stuff. But I have to tell you, it's a saying that we always say in my community: you don't look like what you've been through, and that is something. Yes. To me, that always keeps me grounded, because I may show up as this light and this energy, but I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't know how many fires I have to put out today. You don't know how many things I'm actually doing and navigating. But to be here in this space, and just like what happened, what Miss Laura said, I almost got chills by it. She said that going through that helps her realize it's so many things that don't even matter. There's so many things that you like, when you hit a real life bump, you're like, you know what, that really doesn't matter. It really doesn't have any weight. Like, I spent time, really dealing with that. But when you hit a real life hiccup or a bump, you totally readjust how you see things and how you navigate through the space. But one thing here specifically about this podcast, and really the way I flow through life, it's really about edifying and beautifying from the inside out. Ms. Laura, that is... When you said that was something that really stuck with me, because I say that really, really often, because I said, I'm just trying to be internally beautiful. That's it. What you get that comes out, that's the overflow. That's the overflow of me cleaning up.
Yes.
The inside.
Yeah.
And you've been open, about, your body and dating and all these different things. You've been, relatively open about that. And I really appreciate that. I'm telling you, I do. Tell me about building confidence from the inside out, because a lot of people can't get into their mindset to do that. Tell me about some of those steps you had to take to truly, truly build it from the inside out, because that's the only way that it's sustainable.
Yeah. For me, my personal philosophy is action in trying and failing. it's failure. I've tried so many things in my life and failed. One of the mottos that I have with my grown daughter during the cancer, as I was going through cancer, I realized I had a brand spanking new condo, got to spec out the colors and the rest of it, and I realized taxes are going up. I'm on a single income. I'm not going to be able to afford this. So her and I got together and bought a home in about an hour outside of Boston in a rural area, fixer upper. I was not scared off of the fixer upper, and I seen it as an opportunity to try to teach my daughter electrical, plumbing. Although electrical, I try to stay away from because that can be dangerous. But the plumbing, the revamping of the house, all of that, we did that together. And our motto when we started that was, mistakes are okay, but two big things we can't do is cost too much money on mistakes. So we got to think it through before we make a decision on what we're going to do with a particular room or something. And no trips to the ER. So safety first, but otherwise try it. You have to get off the bench in life to try and be okay with failing and be comfortable with failing, because we're not all good at everything. It's just not going to happen. I'm pretty good. I don't mind baking, but cooking's like I don't know if I have the whole patience for cooking the full meal except for twice a year.
Miss Laura, my stove in there might as well be donated somewhere. And I'm not proud of it now. Okay, so I'm not gonna tell the people I'm not proud of it. Okay, but I don't put pots and pans together either. And this year for Thanksgiving, typically I try to help with something. I didn't do anything. I said, oh my gosh, like how low does it get? But I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything as it relates to cooking, but whatever. That's where I am this year, and I'm okay with it. And I know, Ms. Laura, I really appreciate that I can really say that I'm happy you had that time and space with your daughter to do that. Because what may have looked like a detour, like, we're going to get this fixer upper on a rural part of Austin. I mean, that actually can be is a pivotal moment for her in learning resourcefulness. Because even with my son who's only 8, he'll be 9 when the year turns over. There have been moments, specifically in this year, where I did not expect things to look the way that I thought they would, Miss Laura. I said, oh my gosh, all this is really falling apart.
It's a little in the healthcare world, it's going to get more interesting with the finances, because cancer's expensive, and it's going to get my anxiety, my heart just feels for individuals going through treatments and because you need to get healthy, but then at the same time, you have that additional layer of stress of how do I pay to get healthy, because it's expensive and it's difficult. So and just navigating healthcare, generally in our nation, it's one of those things that you wouldn't expect, for a country of this size and this many resources to have so many roadblocks and pitfalls. And I talk about this often on the podcast. My grandfather back in 24, it's been a year, almost 2 years now, he had a stroke. And I did not imagine to have to hit so many walls. I mean, elderly, on a Medicare plan, and needed just a number of different resources post that experience, variety of therapies, a variety of specialists and neurologists and cardiologists. It just went on and on and on, Miss Laura, on and on and on. And to see some of those services even be cut, with the particular plan, and it's on this one network and this provider, it was just very overwhelming. And it was just so much red tape, and it continues to be a challenge, I think, for me and my family. So my heart, of course, goes out to anyone who's navigating the healthcare system, especially with all the cuts that are going on. So thank you for shedding light there. Thank you so much. Now, I don't want to go over this because Ms. Laura, you're a smart woman. She said mechanical engineering. That's not easy. That was a long time ago.
Okay, you did it. Okay, you did it, and I want to know because I find myself. I had a financial services career for 13 years. I did a bunch of different things, and every once in a while, Ms. Laura, I'm like, I'm not, I'm done with that thing, but it's something like that comes back from my career that feels like, oh, I'm so happy I had that in my toolkit. I'm so happy that, what I mean? Like I was so ready to get away from it. It turned pretty toxic toward the end. All these different things happened. But every time I turn a step, I pull something from way back then, that
Absolutely.
I didn't think, right, that would be
Absolutely.
relevant for this part of the journey. Is there anything that sticks out? You're like, oh my gosh, that was something that was really big in my, engineering career, but I was just so happy that that piece was there, to kind of fill in for this
Yes.
journey, even if it's a little piece.
Yeah. It not only for myself, but when I speak with many of my clients, is I tend to be, because of my background, I tend to be more process orientated. So when I speak with people, um, and everybody's overwhelmed in the beginning, you hear those words, you have cancer, and then all of a sudden you get a team of doctors. You don't get one doctor. Now they're talking chemo, they're talking surgeries, radiation, targeted therapies. It's very, very overwhelming. And I when I speak with people, I try to emphasize for them to just, it's a process. It's a marathon, it's a process, and there's a certain steps to it. If you choose conventional Western medicine, the protocols are pretty standard. And so keeping your mind, first of all, keep your mind in the same part of the same area of the process. Meaning, if you're going through 5 months of chemo, stay in chemo. Don't worry about the surgery. Don't worry about radiation. You've got to stay in chemo. So stay in that whatever phase you're at in the best you can. So that would be one piece of advice that I usually try to talk with people, to break it down, to make it emotionally and mentally manageable. The other thing is just try to stay agile, flexible in your mind and in your thinking, because a lot of unknowns, even though there's knowns in cancer. I mean, they've done a great job. These physicians and researchers have done a tremendous job over the last 30 years, creating new medicines, new protocols. There's still sometimes your treatment goes left or right. So in the beginning, if you think, if you're told you're going to have, lumpectomy, radiation, whatever that protocol is, and now all of a sudden chemo is involved, those are very hard conversations, very difficult conversations. So do what you can, not only with a cancer or any type of trauma or life in general. It's just try to stay agile, flexible, and try to do what you can to not, blame when there's changes. Sometimes there's nobody to blame. It is what it is. And blaming isn't going to help anything. Being flexible and saying, okay, I got to make a left. What does this mean now? What are my now new expectations? How does this change my thinking for the rest of my treatment, or for the rest of the results or the ramifications of any decision? Mm-hmm. So is that flexibility in your mind?
It is. I mean, and that's such a great skill to take anywhere, even if it's, dealing with cancer, dealing with sickness. It's just really a great thing to be able to be very flexible. And I think from my, corporate career, that actually helped me a lot, because we used to have so many system failures and, people resource problems and all these different things. The things that happen, all these different things that happen, and you would have to really, think on your feet and kind of get those things done. So I do notice, like, now I'm kind of out in this world and, doing things that are business related and things of that sort. And I meet, and this is, not any shade or anything, but, I meet a entrepreneur, someone who hasn't had the corporate background that I have, and they're working this out and doing it, and the processes sometimes are just not there, in place, or their level of customer service is just kind of not there in place. And I'm always happy for these little things that, you don't know that they'll come back and be so beneficial towards the end of, or wherever you are, but just very happy that I can look back and find some clarity and really some gratefulness, right, for some of those skills that, that we're using now. Now, I know that you're working to get a TED Talk, and you're working on some things.
I love public speaking, doing some local public speaking and talking with people, and whether it be one-on-one, as a patient navigator, that's all one-on-one with some support, a few support groups. But I do love, just a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to talk at a local high school, and that was fun. Just talking with high schoolers about breast cancer. And first thing I said was, hey, it's been a while since I've been in high school, so let's be nice, be nice to me first. Okay. But they were wonderful, very mature. I just I'm still very hopeful about our next generation. You know, they were very impressive.
Yes, and I think it was about a couple of weeks ago. I think it was on a Saturday. I actually did a high school here in the local Houston area. They had a career and technology
Really?
day, and I was there, and that was kind of their first shift. So I was like, okay, like I can't use all of my superhero references because these kids don't know what you're talking about, old lady. So that was that was a perspective shift, but I had a really good time. It was really well received. So I can definitely tell you have that very personable feel to you to where that you will fall into that, naturally. Tell me something, if that TED, if they were coming to you for a TED talk or some type of talk, what do you feel is your most urgent message to put on a national global stage? What will be that most urgent message from you, Laura?
Impact. I love the word impact. Impact. How can you positively impact your neighborhood, your community, whether it be a community that you formed or a community that geographically you live in? Positive impact with action. It's just so needed in my mind that's what I learned through what I went through with my experience was that it was, yeah, I loved my career as a automotive designer. Don't get me wrong. That was wonderful. And maybe I had some impact on, brakes or transmissions, whatnot, in the overall scope of automotive engineering. But now I can impact just one-on-one, one person at a time. And just having that, and it's like a chain reaction. You make a positive impact, whether it's your words or your actions. I, in life, tend to think it's more of our actions. People watch, even our children watch, versus what we say. Our actions, having that positive impact just has a chain reaction. And it's just one of the reasons why I like to volunteer. I volunteer for the rodeo. I volunteered for Operation Turkey. I've just, because I think it's just I was brought up, my mother volunteered quite a bit, and it's just part of the fabric. Don't wait for somebody to ask. You go do. This is your community.
Yeah, look at me and Miss Laura living a similar life, girl. I'm a volunteer too, and actually, yes, I actually volunteer at a nonprofit here. It's actually Survivor Breast Cancer. I'm actually going to a volunteer event on Saturday. They're actually honoring the volunteers, and we're going to make perfumes at a perfume shop or something. A few of us
Nice.
that have volunteered throughout the year, and food bank and different places that we've done. But it's good that you said that, because I don't have to actually be done. I'm very blessed to have been raised in a household to where service was part of what we did, whether that was some official, going to the volunteer event or just helping our neighbor down the street. Here's some food for your children or whatever that looks like. So very blessed to have been raised in a household that promoted service. So to see you doing it really warms my heart. And I tell people, I help, people build their brands and say, but it's always going to be something about me that's going to be action oriented. It's not going to matter if Sinead shows up to Her Voice Shines podcast or to the Houston Food Bank or to wherever it is I'm doing. There will be an essence of me that will speak service and that will have a presence, that people will see that impact and that ripple effect. So that's what I try to instill in anyone that I'm helping, that is the part that you're going to leave as legacy and what people will remember about you. Because as Ms. Laura and I have told you, the titles change, the seasons of life change.
Yes.
That's going to change. We don't have really any, control over that. But that brings me to another great question, because, you are in survival mode. You are, ex-engineer. Tell me, what is success now? Beyond the titles, beyond the diagnosis, what is success really now for Laura?
Success for me is, I work for a nonprofit, so it's probably not the financial end. I'm probably not going to make it big in the nonprofit world, and I'm okay with that. For me, the success is take the financial off the table. For me, it's more of the thank yous that I get from people. I just love that, being able to make, again, that positive impact on people. In every not every aspect, not everybody loves me, but just trying to make that positive impact and impacting as many people as I can, and having them impact others. I just love that. I love that. Figuring out what cancer did for me was really, really, I thought it was my divorce years ago, but it really wasn't. It was going through that cancer trauma of really weeding out wants versus needs. I've been very blessed. I'm very grateful to God that I've got needs taken care of. I don't live large. I don't need much to live, and it's a beautiful thing. I have a motorcycle, older used motorcycle, and I camp instead of hoteling when I can. I'm just I kind of just live a very, I wouldn't call it simple lifestyle, but again, not extravagant, put it that way. And I'm good with that because that fulfills my needs. So then my wants, then one of the things I've targeted this year is that I'm part of Paddles with a Purpose, which is Austin Breast Cancer Dragon Boat Team. Yes, there's a whole dragon boat community out there, breast cancer.
Oh.
Google it. I know it'll blow you away.
Wow. Okay.
We're gonna be in an international tournament in France in August, in 2026.
Oh wow!
There'll be 200 breast cancer teams there on the water.
Oh, this is like a big thing, huh? Okay.
It's a big thing worldwide. Yeah. So we're going to be going there, and so now is the time to save up to make sure that that if that's my want, then my needs, keep them simple and make sure I can get to France. And I'd love to ride my motorcycle in the Alps, but we'll see what happens.
Oh my goodness! And that's Miss Laura just dropped y'all some real jewels about monitoring those wants and needs, because there are some things that you want and are probably in your possession, but you still have those wants in a needs category. And sometimes you have to flip those things around to see, so things really move. So I'm definitely going to look into that. I had no idea that you guys were 200 teams deep going to France.
Yeah. And you said you're out of Houston, right?
Yes, I'm right up the street. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Houston's got a number of dragon boat teams. Yeah, check it out.
Now I'm nosy, Miss Laura. I put a note over here to look it up. So I'm definitely gonna go and see it.
It's a great sport because your upper body, all of us have had surgery and lymphedema and other issues, and so you're just in that boat paddling. It's a wonderful sport for your upper body.
I love that. Now I want to make sure that I give you a segment so that people know where to connect with you, so that people can see, what you're working on if they want to reach out to have any questions. So I will cue over to you so you can have a clean segment on. And also to tell us, I know you do a lot of different speaking and your impact is so important for you, but just tell us some of those kind of high points of your speaking and connection, and then let us know where to connect with you, whether that's email, socials, whatever that is.
Yeah. So Unbroken Courage, you can find me.com. You can find me there. And there's some podcasts and videos and so forth on the website. You can email me, Laura at Unbroken Courage there. If you're in the Austin area, or the 5-county area here in Austin, and you're a survivor or have recently been diagnosed and looking for patient navigation, you can reach out the Breast Cancer Resource Center, bcrc.org, and somebody will assign you a navigator and help you through your treatment. And it might be me, it might be one of my associates. We're a very small nonprofit, but that's another way. Again, if you're in this area, if you are outside the area and you have been diagnosed and you would like some information on videos, there's breastcanceruniversity.org, again, through the BCRC, where you can watch videos from professionals, physicians, giving information, providing information about expectations and different treatment plans and options and so forth. In the speaking, I'm out there on LinkedIn, and then also at the website at unbrokencourage.com. Yeah.
Unbroken Courage. I love that, Miss Laura. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I do have to get to Austin. I was just thinking, I went to undergrad in Austin, actually. It was some time ago. Yes, and the Austin area has changed so much. That was like 2008-ish. So it's changed so much since that time. And I really have been around Austin, like San Antonio, San Marcos, but I haven't been to Austin in quite some time. And it is on my list to do in 2026. So I will be in the area. I know you guys got a lot going on.
Let me know. We'll get you in the boat.
Now, I tell my guests now, don't be surprised if I call you now. Look, I'm in Austin. What are you doing? I'm just saying, Miss Laura, I got to tell you, thank you. And I told you before we came, I'm happy to see you in front of me looking like this.
It's
and
wonderful.
Sounding like this and having this level of clarity and still choosing beyond survival to make impact. That's nothing small. So if you ever feeling down the dumps, you better play this podcast back and hear my voice. You are a soldier and a war. You know what? I have guests like, you know what? I went back and looked at our podcast. And it changed things, but I do this from a really, really pure space, and it means so much to me to share this space, because so often, we go through life and we don't even realize all the steps that it's taken us to get to this point. Sometimes it's hard to even get out the bed. Sometimes even hard to say thank you. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So when I see my guests come here and they take the time out of their schedules and the time out of their mind cycle to sit here, I don't take it lightly, because you could have been anywhere else. You didn't have to go through my long form. You didn't have to do any of that. But
well, I just appreciate you providing the platform to let people know you're not alone out there.
You are not alone. And I hope I hope that you're seeing this, and Miss Laura has brought encouragement to you, because she has to me. And I went through it, and I was not going to miss the opportunity to sit here and talk to you. So as we kind of go to close the show, I want you to give us some final parting words for the space. I want us to get something that captures the essence of Laura and leaves an imprint and impact in our listeners today. So I'll cue over to you for final thoughts.
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot. Always do. Go do. Get it done. Whatever it is. Don't be afraid to fail. It's okay. It's okay. Go do. You got this. You got this. Yes, you got this.
She said you got it, and you got to get up and do it. And, there's no failure. I mean, people always will say, you won. I say, yeah, but I had 100, what you probably would think would be losses. I know, people always say, I'm like, oh my God, if these people only knew.
We could have a whole other podcast on all my failures. Like, okay, we don't need to talk about any of that.
Right. I'm like, if they only knew.
Nope, tried that. Nope.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, and she's right. You have to just get up and do it. We all are granted this 24 hours each day, and it's up to you to make the most of it.
Yeah. Hold tight to that faith and go. Yeah.
Hold on to the faith and go. And let me tell you something, the Her Voice Shines podcast, Lynn, it has been an amazing 32 minutes here, Miss Laura. I know it doesn't seem like it, because we always have so much fun. I know y'all don't want to leave. But we can't.
Isn't this an hour? Are we going to go for 2 hours? What are you talking about?
But yes, like what happened to my time? I'm like, I always, I'm going to tell you the truth and give you your time. I know it never feels like it, okay? But that's what this place is created for. And I have to tell you, in the Her Voice Shines podcast, Lynn, we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you are sitting there, remember to get up and do it and let your voice shine. Until next time, I will be back with another beautiful guest. Sinead Washington here in the beautiful city of Houston, Texas, and we'll be back next time. We love you.